Continue straight, then your destination will be on the left.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're in Beckley, West Virginia at the Exhibition Coal Mine Museum. We stayed at the campground on site, which is located not too far from New River Gorge National Park. The history of this mine goes back to about 1889, started by the Phillips family. Touring the museum, seeing the old equipment they used and the conditions they worked in really gives you a new appreciation for the modern world we have today. Before unions, miners were mostly paid in company script, which had no real value outside the mining towns. Miners and their families lived in company housing, they bought their food and goods from the company store, and would often go into debt just to get by. Hence the line from the old song 16 Tons, I owe my soul to the company store. It's crazy to think about when some of these pictures were taken. These men had no idea that we'd be looking back through that lens 70, 100 years later and seeing how they lived and the hard work they put in building this country. Also around the property, they have period houses, cabins, and a church that you can tour to see how the miners lived. The bachelor's shanty was pretty small, but it has more room than some of the RVs we've been in. The family home was a little more modern, being from the late 30s, around that time period. It was just really cool to get to see how these miners lived. All the buildings are fully furnished, and you walk in, it's just like walking into a time capsule. The church was built in 1921, so it's over 100 years old. It was built in a coal camp in Pemberton, West Virginia by a coal baron named Thomas Hurst Wickham. He gifted the church to the community, and it was later moved to the museum property. How's it going?
Yeah, just fine. How are you?
Good.
Very good. All right. Well, we're located in different places around our county, and they were
They also had an older time period town set up here. These buildings were moved to the property also from other parts of West Virginia. You know, getting to visit places like this is truly why we love full-time RV life. I'd have to put the odds of us ever visiting Beckley, West Virginia when we lived in our sticks and bricks close to zero.
tell you a little bit about this mine. This was an actual coal mine. It was called the Phillips Mines. The Phillips family owned it, and they operated this mine for 20 years. Now the Phillips family was mining this seam of coal on the very bottom. And that's called the Sewell seam. And that seam of coal runs anywhere from 28 to 34 inches high. So this whole mine was about as high as these cars. And the miners worked on their hands and knees all the time. Now this mine shut down in 1910. Put water in the top. That little lever on top of that light's called a dripper. I'm gonna push that dripper and see what it does. Drips that water out. I'm gonna drip that water on this carbide and it's gonna start smoking. It creates a gas called acetylene. And I'll show you how to light this light, so here we go. See this light coming out of there? It's acetylene gas. Now you screw this light back together. And you hold your hand right here. And you say the magic word, hocus pocus.
Hocus pocus.
And it lights.
And that's what you walked around with.
Now, there was no magic to that at all. That's a striker right here. See that striker right here? But you gotta hold your hand here and let that gas build up a little bit. Then you can light it. Now this was a big improvement for the miner. This light will last 4 hours. Let me turn the lights out again and show you how much light he had to work with. Now he was down on his hands and knees, he had this light on his hat. And he was digging this coal over here with a pick and shovel. That's still not much light, is it? Today we use a LED light. I want you to look down this entry right here. I can see all the way to the end. That's a much better light today than what they had back in.
Freight trains are every 15.
Our last stop was Canyon Rim Visitor Center overlooking the New River Bridge. They have stairs leading down to a nice overlook that we went down and got some of this footage. Now they do have hiking trails and a bridge walk that you can do all around this area, but we were kind of short on time, so we didn't get to take advantage of any of those. They do have a bridge walk that's on the underside of the bridge. It's kind of like on a catwalk that goes across. There's also rafting and kayaking in the river. And a fun fact, the New River is one of the oldest rivers in the world. I didn't know that. I'd have to say West Virginia really surprised us. We'd love to go back and spend a lot more time there. There's a lot more to see. And if you guys made it this far in the video, thanks for watching. And if you can, hit that thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. Thank you. I'm out of shape. It's only 185 steps, but wow.